What gives life meaning, especially when things fall apart? Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist, faced that question in the most extreme way, inside a Nazi concentration camp. He saw that even in suffering, there can be purpose. That how we respond to pain can shape who we become. But this idea isn't only Frankl's. Long before him, the Buddha asked a similar question. Why do we suffer, and is there a way through it? Surprisingly, these two thinkers, from different cultures, centuries apart, came to a shared insight. This video explores what Frankl and the Buddha discovered, and how their wisdom might help us live more meaningfully today. In 1942, Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist living in Vienna, was arrested by the Nazis and deported to a concentration camp. He lost nearly everything: his wife, his parents, his freedom. Life in the camps was brutal. Men were reduced to numbers. The future disappeared. But Frankl began to notice something unusual. Even in the worst conditions, some people didn't give up. They found ways to endure, not because they were stronger, but because they had something to live for. One man imagined seeing his daughter again. Another focused on finishing a manuscript in his mind. Frankl realized something powerful. We may not be able to control what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond. That choice, he said, is where meaning lives. He called this approach logotherapy. The idea that our deepest motivation isn't pleasure or power, but purpose. Frankl would later write, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." It's a lesson born not from theory, but from surviving the worst of what life can offer. Centuries before Viktor Frankl, another seeker faced the same question. Why do we suffer? This was the central concern of Siddhartha Gautama, the man we know as the Buddha. After years of searching, meditation, and struggle, he arrived at what he called the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is simple, but profound: life contains suffering. Not just physical pain, but dissatisfaction, what he called dukkha. It shows up in small ways: frustration when plans change, the unease of wanting more, the sorrow of losing what we love. The second truth: suffering has a cause. It arises from craving, from clinging to pleasure, permanence, or ego. The third truth: suffering can end. When we loosen attachment, we loosen its hold on us. And the fourth truth is the path forward, a way of living built on awareness, compassion, and wisdom, the Noble Eightfold Path. On the surface, Frankl's story and the Buddha's teaching may seem worlds apart, but they meet at a powerful insight. Meaning isn't found by avoiding pain. It's found by transforming our relationship to it. Frankl said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." The Buddha said, "Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional." Both remind us that freedom lies not in perfect circumstances, but in how we meet them. So, what do Frankl and the Buddha leave us with? Both point to the same truth: meaning isn't something we stumble upon, it's something we create through the way we respond to life. In Frankl's words, even when we can't control our circumstances, we can still choose our attitude. In the Buddha's teaching, suffering is part of life, but how we relate to it can either trap us or free us. So, how can we apply this today? It doesn't have to be grand or heroic. It can be as simple as asking yourself, what challenge am I facing right now? And, how can I use it to grow, to connect, to give? Maybe it's being more present with a loved one. Maybe it's turning a stressful job into a chance to build resilience. Maybe it's seeing pain as a reminder of what matters most. Meaning, then, is not out there waiting. It's right here, in how we live this very moment. Viktor Frankl survived the darkest of human experiences, and he showed us that even there, meaning could be found. The Buddha, centuries earlier, taught that suffering is woven into life, but it can be the very path to wisdom and compassion. Both point us toward the same timeless lesson: we don't need to escape life's struggles to live meaningfully. We need to face them, to choose our response, and to let them shape us into something deeper. So the next time you feel lost or overwhelmed, pause and ask, what meaning can I create here? Because in the end, life is not about avoiding suffering, it's about transforming it into purpose. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real meaning of life. If this video made you pause, think, or reflect, subscribe for more timeless ideas made simple.